becomes religion. Faith, algorithm, and the future of humanity. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome with Dr. Justin. So, if you are joining me live, you are very welcome. Please like the stream, share it, and let me know in the comments where you are watching from. Tonight, I want us to think very, very deeply. Now, human beings have never lived without faith. They have never lived without faith. At no point in history has humanity existed without something it ultimately trusts. I can assure you, even though there are claims of atheism, there's always something people believe will save them, guide them, and give them meaning. In ancient times, people trusted the gods. In medieval times, they trusted God, the Almighty. In modern times and postmodern times, as we are today, many people say, I trust nothing. How true is that? How true is that? Now, but tonight, I want to argue that this is not true. The modern man claims that he trusts nothing is not true. So, when gods fade, something else quietly takes the place of the gods. And today, that something is science, technology, and data. I repeat, today, that's something that has taken the place of God or the gods is science, technology, and data, if you like. Data flow. Let me ask you directly. Please, in the chat, you can comment. Do you believe science can answer everything? Do you believe science can answer everything? Do you believe science can provide solutions to all of human problems? Do you sincerely believe? Type yes or no. Now, a second question. This is the heart of our discussion tonight. Is science slowly becoming the new religion of modern humanity? Do you think so? Do you think technology has grown or risen to such extent that it could be equated to the religion of the modern man? So hold these questions in your mind as we continue to reflect. What do you think religion really is? What do you think religion is? Most people think religion is about churches, mosques, temples, rituals, or sacred books. Not entirely true. This is a mistake. Religion at its core is not first about buildings or ceremonies. Religion is about ultimate trust. It's about belief. belief. It's about ultimate trust. And in that regard, religion does four things. Four things. First, it tells you what reality ultimately is. Second, it tells you what is valuable. Third, it tells you how to live. And fourth, and the last, it tells you what can save you. Now, think carefully. Think carefully. In the past, God explained reality. God grounded morality. God commanded how to live. God promised salvation. Yeah. But today, many people say, I don't believe in God. My response is simple. Something else has taken God's place. Something else has taken God's place. Today, many people believe that science explains all things, all reality, that technology will solve all problems, that data knows us better than we know ourselves. And that's why there are many AI technology everywhere. People believe that progress will save humanity. These are beliefs, the beliefs, if you like, the creeds of the modern man. That, ladies and gentlemen, is religious faith. Even if it wears a lab coat. Religion did not disappear. It changed its clothes. Today, in the midst of secularism, of materialism, in the midst of the extremities of science and technology, religion persists. Let me be very clear. I am not attacking science. I am rather attacking science's claims that there is no God, or science's claims that there is no religion. Science actually is one of the greatest achievements of the human mind. It is. Science is a method, a powerful method for studying the natural world. But today, there is a dangerous confusion between science and scientism. They are not the same thing. And my problem today is not science. My problem is with scientism. Science asks questions like, how does the heart beat? How do viruses spread? How does gravity work? Scientism, on the other hand, makes a very different claim. And what is that claim? It says, only science gives truth. Anything that cannot be measured is meaningless. Can you see the difference between science and scientism? Now, notice something important. That statement itself is not scientific. That only science gives truth, and that anything that cannot be measured is meaningless. That in itself is not scientific. And that is or are the claims of scientism. You cannot run an experiment to prove that only science gives truth. You can't. So the claims of scientism are not scientific. They cannot be experimented. So scientism is not actually science. It is not. It is a philosophy. It is a philosophy pretending not to be one. It is a philosophy pretending not to be one. Here is an example. I give you an example. Science can tell us how the brain works. It can tell us why human dignity matters. Science can measure pain. It can tell us whether justice is wrong. Science describes fact. It does not create values. Yet, modern societies increasingly treat scientific authority as absolute, as the absolute moral authority. This is no longer science. This is a clear transformation of science to scientism. Science to faith, of science to religion. And this brings us to one of the most influential thinkers of our time, Yuval Noah Harari. Harari introduces a new belief system called Datism. Dataism. And what does Datism teaches? It teaches that the universe is made of data flows, that humans are biochemical algorithms, that the free will is an illusion, that algorithms know us better than we as individuals know ourselves. In the past, people asked God what to do. Have you noticed it? Today we ask Google, we ask ChatGPT and other AIs what to do. Think about this carefully. Your phone knows what you like, what you fear, what you desire, what influences your decisions. Imagine. And Harari asks us a chilling question. If algorithms know us better than we know ourselves, why should we make our own decisions? Why? And what you notice is that authority shifts from conscience to computation. That is no longer just technology. That is technological faith. And here is the central danger of this technological faith. Technology answers the question, can we? It never answers the question, should we? No. History teaches us this painfully. A great scientist in the past called Auschwitz was not a failure of technology. his productions, it was a success of efficiency without morality. Nuclear weapons are not dangerous because they are scientific. No, they are dangerous because they lack ethical restraint. Likewise, artificial intelligence can optimize systems, but it cannot define justice. Social media connects us, yet it also manipulates us. When technology replaces moral wisdom, humanity becomes efficient but not humane. As Kant, Immanuel Kant, the great moral philosopher, warned, human beings must always be treated as ends, never merely as means. Unfortunately, scientism, through the emphasis on data flow and algorithms, treat humans always as data points, as means, not as ends. And when efficiency becomes sacred, dignity becomes expendable. And of course, you know how dire the implications can be. Now, let us bring this discussion home. Let us bring it home. Especially as Global South nations and as Africans. Africa did not design most of the technologies it now depends on. No. The data flows outward. The power flows elsewhere. We consume technology without controlling its values. This is the newborn or a new form of colonialism. However, this time around, it is not territorial. It is digital. Traditional African ethics emphasize community responsibility and moral accountability. Our logarithmic culture emphasizes speed, profit, and preference. So the question now is, the question now is not whether Africa will not use technology. The question is rather whether technology, especially in the future, will use Africa and Africans. So a great question arises: can science and religion coexist? Is it possible? Can they coexist? The solution is not to reject science. The solution is to put science back to its former place. Science tells us how the world works. Philosophy and religion tells us why it matters. Science becomes dangerous when it forgets it is not God. And religion also becomes dangerous when it rejects reason. What this means is that humanity needs both truth and meaning. It needs both. So, in essence, every civilization is shaped by what it worships. Every civilization from the beginning of human history is shaped by what it worships. So, if we worship efficiency, in the postmodern world, the consequence is we are definitely going to lose our humanity. If we worship data, the consequence is we may end up sacrificing wisdom. We can become very efficient and effective, yet be lacking wisdom. And if we worship technology, we may end up being humans without conscience. We become robots. So, I leave you with one important question. What do you ultimately trust to save humanity? What do you ultimately trust to save humanity? Is it science? Is it technology? If you trust in science and technology to save humanity, your religion is technologism and scientism. Your belief, your creed is deism. And of course, the consequences are grave. So it's a short life. Thank you for joining me. Please, if you come across this stream and its impact on you, do like it, share, and comment. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.